Good day. I am Dr. Joseph Fox, Vice President of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County. I bring you greetings on behalf of our board and celebration committee. As we close out a week-long celebration recognizing and honoring Dr. King, we want to think about our overall theme for the year, which is Give Us the Ballot Box, the urgency of now. We kicked off our week-long activities with our prayer breakfast that focused on voting rights. We continue the week-long celebration with a day of service to the beloved community with our partnership with Beloved Asheville, providing winter survival kits for the homeless. We then continued our celebration with a virtual peace march and rally to look at the state of affairs. And today we're closing out a week-long celebration by looking at and recognizing our nonprofits in the Asheville area that are doing the work in the community, as well as a call to action. We set goals throughout the last 2 years working with the Community Remembrance Project and our partner, the Equal Justice Initiative out of Montgomery, Alabama, to first of all, more accurately reflect history of racial and economic injustice and inequalities, to help our community heal from the silent trauma surrounding racial violence that occurred during the Jim Crow era, through lynchings, through mass incarcerations, through violence in communities of Black and Brown, and of course from state-sanctioned violence that continues today. A second goal was to foster local conversation and reflection concerning community healing, and that community healing is through truth-telling, educational programming, reconciliation events, and transforming narratives. Our projects through our Equal Justice Initiative partnership included a soil collection project where we recognized and honored Mr. John Humphreys, who were lynched July the 15th, 1888, recognizing the lynching of Mr. Hezekiah Rankin, September 24th, 1891, and the lynching of Mr. Bob Brackett on August the 10th, 1897. We've also sponsored the Racial Justice Essay Contest for students throughout Asheville and Buncombe counties. Students were asked to examine the history of a topic on racial injustice, to discuss its legacy today, and to explain the chosen topic using specific historical events. They were also asked to explore how the injuries persist today and to imagine solutions for a future free from racial injustices. We had over 52 high school entries. The Equal Justice Initiative sponsored winners with $10,500 of scholarship award money, and the Martin Luther King Jr. Association added another $3,000 to that total amount of a little over $13,000. We also have looked at our historical marker installation ceremony, where we install historical markers for the 3 individuals of record that were lynched. We do say individuals of record that was lynched, in that we know that other lynchings occurred. We know that other violence occurred in Black and Brown communities, but these are the individuals of records that have been documented that we were able to find archives, newspaper articles, and research these 3 individuals. Our next steps are to look at healing workshops. We hope to take local community residents on our trip to Montgomery, Alabama, to the Legacy Museum for Enslavement to Mass Incarceration and the National Memorial for Peace and Justice in the late spring, early summer. And we want to recognize the more than 4,400 African American men, women, and children that were hanged, burnt alive, shot, drowned, and beaten to death by white mobs between 1877 and 1950. In fact, there's been other documented cases after that time period that has the number up to close to 6,000 individuals. So as we close out our week of celebration, we want to call attention to how we have a call to action. Some of the videos that you have seen this week surrounds our nonprofits that are doing the work in the Asheville area. Asheville Black Wall Street, Asheville Buncombe Institute for Parity Achievement, ABIFA, Equal Market Streets Development Corporation, Equity Over Everything, and the YMI Cultural Center. We ask that you find your place in how you give back to the community. We don't want this to be an annual event where we just recognize the accomplishments of Dr. King, but an actual call to action where we look at our influence, our circle of influence, to see what we can do in our beloved communities. Look at how we can be involved with our community engagement, running for city and county volunteer committees, looking at local school boards, looking at how you can be active in citizens advisory committees. Anything, any action on the local area where you have a voice to be heard and to speak up. We also ask that you continue with our service project throughout the year, not only on our day of service, but throughout the year as we recognize the work of beloved Asheville, as they look to foster understanding, compassion, and service to the homeless population. So again, on behalf of the board of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County, we ask that you get involved and let this be a day of call to action. Thank you.